Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thanks for tuning in to my show. I am the American Anchor Baby. We're here. We're going to make it happen. We got a nice show ahead, so stick around. A little late. We could... Anyways, I knew it was as I was putting it together. So we could say this or that, but let's be real. It's a pleasure to have you all here. We're going to be getting into some stuff. We got stuff to get into. I want to talk about this Sound of Freedom film that came out and all the noise behind it. I have some stuff on that, as well as just some stuff about women and haram. You know what haram? That's haram, not halal. And some fun stuff. And I want to talk about a little bit about this the Fuentes Destiny debate. I actually watched it last night. It was pretty interesting. I happened to catch the second half of it. I have some commentary on that, a clip with Destiny, our friend Destiny, Bond's friend, and as well as some commentary. You guys might like this. Okay, I'll do this at the end. I have some commentary on, how should I say, the divine rights of kings and the patriarchy, and some stuff I've been thinking about that you guys might find interesting. Stick around for that. It'll be, I think you might find it fascinating. And we got plenty of stuff to do. Honestly, there's some comments I want to make about the French Tuberville war and Alex Jones and Kanye. I didn't know Kanye was sued for comments on George Floyd. I thought it was just... anyways, we're going to get into... We got plenty to do, and your calls, 888-775-3773. Let's have a heck of a show. YouTube is not receiving enough video. Let me know if I'm buffering, okay? Because this is a good show, okay? We want this to work. Let me know if we're buffering. Yeah, Lord Bibby, Sound of Freedom seems to be quite popular with those who have watched it. You're caught up now. 3 was buffering, but seems okay. Let's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so let's see where's my show? Let me pull up my show. I see you guys in the chat. I see Rumble. The party's starting. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Very nice. Thank you for the comments there, letting me know. Let me see here. Beautiful. Okay. Y'all soaking? It sounds like you're soaking in chat. It sounds like you're... What does that even mean? A little shout out to yesterday's show. Soaking in the name of the Lord is soaking in the key of F minor and the brainwashing. If you didn't catch that, you can podcast my show. American Anchor Baby on Substack. I believe I'm on Spotify as well. I don't see Rumble. Second day now. I'm in delay as well. Oh, I must be using the wrong camera. But, no, I'm not. Test. No, I'm not delayed. Okay. Yeah, Rumble. Second day you don't see Rumble, huh? I'll put the link in the chat. I got to figure out what's going on with that. It doesn't just pop up for for those looking for my Rumble stream. Might be streaming on personal channel. That's right. I always forget to differentiate. Rumble requires you to, I guess, categorize your streams, okay? And I may have made it difficult for you guys to find my stream sometimes. So the link's in the chat if you want to have a party over there on Rumble. Very nice. Thanks for the information. Okay, let's get into this because we got plenty of show to get to. So let me kick it off. Okay, we got this Sound of Freedom. Okay, there was a film that came out July 4th. Okay, it's making noise. It's making noise across the media, and it's called The Sound of Freedom, a 2023 American action film directed and co-written by Alejandro Monteverde and Jim Caviezel. You know Jim Caviezel, known for playing Jesus in The Passion of the Christ. Wasn't he also Superman? Jim Caviezel. Was he the Man of Steel? Superman. No. Oh, yeah, he is. Okay. So Jim Caviezel and The Sound of Freedom. And in the movie, he plays a former government agent who embarks on a mission to rescue children. He plays an agent named Tim Ballard, or Ballard? Ballard. And he plays this agent who, to rescue children from sex traffickers in Colombia. Oh, man. Colombia. Plata o plomo. And so that's pretty much the plot, I guess. You know, I won't give you spoilers. I mean, I'm just playing. I didn't watch it. Anybody watched it? You guys in the chat sound like you guys have seen it. What happened to the American Anchor Baby Rumble channel? Huh? Yeah, I've made it difficult to find my show on Rumble. My apologies. I'll pop the link is in the chat again. Oh, Henry Cavill was Superman. Okay, I think I'm wrong about the Jim Caviezel being Superman thing. But he was Jesus in The Passion of the Christ, okay? And where was I? This movie's making noise. Sounds like you guys, it looks like you guys have seen it. And he plays this Tim Ballard character. Okay? And Jim Caviezel, he's, of course, famous for that role as Jesus, but he's in recent years, I guess you could say, I believe he's been an open, he says he's a devout Catholic. Wikipedia says in a 2017 interview, he talked about it and how he was impacted by the Passion of the Christ. And we've seen bits and pieces of Jim Caviezel in the news and stuff, you know, putting forth his Catholicism, his stances on abortion and stuff like that, okay? As a Hollywood actor and all that, yet out there putting out his belief and all that about, you know, Jesus and stuff that's usually not nice and not a positive thing in Hollywood. Okay? And so he's kind of known for this a little bit. Jim Caviezel. Okay? And the movie's getting apparently great reviews. Okay? We're talking about, let's see, I think I even have some pickies and clips. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about Rotten Tomatoes, 77% from the experts. You know how Rotten Tomatoes works. The audience gives it a score, and then the critics give it a score. You'll see the 77% is from the critics. Pretty high. 99% from the public. Okay. 5 out of 5. Common Sense Media. 4.9. Google reviews. Okay. It's not, 4.9 5-star ratings. Okay, 2,000, you know, it looks like 5. Anyways, it's got a 4.9. I don't know their grading system, okay? We got reviews. As a father, Sound of Freedom touched me deeply and impacted my heart. This powerful film not only sheds light on the horrific reality of human trafficking, but also showcases the unwavering courage and determination of individuals fighting to protect innocent lives. And so it seems to be getting rave reviews online, okay? And from some, okay, from some. And I see your calls coming in. Do appreciate it. 888-775-3773. I will get to all of you. So the public likes it. Great reviews. Media response. Well, mixed response from the media. We're getting a lot of this. We're getting a lot of this, like The Guardian, Sound of Freedom, the QAnon adjacent thriller Seducing America, already kind of maligning the film as a QAnon, you're going to hear that a lot, QAnon and this film. They're saying QAnon this, okay? Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms, says one writer here for the Rolling Stone. Yeah, and it's similar kind of sentiments. Washington Post, Sound of Freedom, a true story? ? What to know about the QAnon? Something about QAnon film or whatever. It's trying to tie it with QAnon. Okay. But it's not all this, right? That we're getting that from some of the big publications. But you know, there's neutrality as well. We're seeing headlines just at Variety. What is this? The Independent or whatever these are. They're saying that the 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 faith-based Sound of Freedom became the summer's unlikely box office hit, so admitting the popularity of this film. Sound of Freedom earns $40 million in the box office. I've read reports it beat out the new Indiana Jones film. Sound of Freedom, box office, movie opens #1 in Texas, Arizona, Florida, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, we're getting some neutral stuff from the media, at least showing how it's a popular film, right? People are going out to see this, spending money to do it for realsies, okay? But of course, as I showed you, they're aligning it with QAnon. This QAnon film, these conspiracy theorists, okay? They're all getting up in arms a little bit, okay? And I just showed you the one from Rolling Stone. It was this one. Rolling Stone, Sound of Freedom is a superhero movie for dads with brainworms. Okay? And this is an image here. It's that same Rolling Stone article. That's 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒍� there playing the role of this Tim Ballard. Apologies if I'm saying that wrong. This is the actual Tim side by side with 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔's character. Okay? A little editorializing? Based on a true story. I'm sorry, 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. I think you might be stretching the definition of true here, my friend. I think you might be stretching what true means here. I'm seeing a little bit of a difference between the two here. Of course, I'm playing. We all know it's a movie. You gotta movify it, and get the fit and good-looking actors and all that, right? Stretching the definition of true here, man. So, oops. Whoa. Did you guys hear? Can you guys hear all that? The computer making these noises? That is so annoying. It won't stop. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear all that. Where was I? Rolling Stone, this Rolling Stone article, okay? Written by Miles Clee, okay? Miles Clee. Let me show you a picture of this guy. This is Miles, okay? Miles Clee, who wrote this Rolling Stone article. And after writing it, he's now since locked his Twitter account, removing his profile picture in a move that some, like the Revolver News, are calling, you know, a show of hiding away from his commentary from this article, okay? But what was it that he even said? What was so bad? What was so bad about Miles Clee and his review of The Sound of Freedom? Well, he starts it off here saying, well, based on a true story, I heard from somewhere across the theater the familiar words had appeared on screen, and an elderly man had taken it upon himself to read them out loud. Showing of the anti-child trafficking thriller Sound of Freedom, we know that cinema will stretch almost any truth to the breaking point. But this crowd, I could tell, would view the events depicted over the next 2+ hours as entirely literal. Miles Clee comments on this QAnon wacko crowd coming to watch this movie. You know, I'm trying to paint the picture here. And he goes on and he aligns the viewers with the QAnon stuff, okay? But I mean, wait, hold on. Again, I haven't seen the film. I don't know too much about Tim Ballard and and the story, the true story that Sound of Freedom is based on, okay? But, you know, based on a true story, I mean, it actually is, right? From what I mean, the Wikipedia article says that Caviezel plays Tim Ballard, who was a real person. Tim Ballard was a former government agent, okay, who, anyways, I just lost my show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was a actual former government agent who embarked on a mission to save trafficked kids in the jungles of Colombia, but then after he was told to stand down, he quit, okay? He left the government. I'm summarizing, okay? And that's the true story it's based on, okay? And, you know, Daily Mail has a whole thing on it, on the harrowing true story behind The Sound of Freedom, the crowd-funded faith-based thriller, which beat out the latest installment of the Indiana Jones franchise and brought acclaimed director and actor Mel Gibson to tears. A government agent named Tim Ballard, who quit his job to embark on a dangerous mission and rescue kids being held captive by child traffickers in Colombia. Its release has sparked a bitter backlash against Hollywood gatekeeping after it was revealed the movie was kept out of theaters for nearly a decade. You know, that's what the Daily Mail says. And the harrowing incidents are inspired by the real-life endeavors of Tim Ballard, who dedicated 12 years of his life working undercover for the Department of Homeland Security before he left the government agency, after he was told to stand down while trying to free children from human traffickers. Now, I don't know the details of the story there, so I'm just letting you know. But, I mean, right away, Miles Clee saying, oh, based on a true story. I mean, this stuff happens, right? This stuff happens, at least according to some of these expert statistics, right? These law firms around the world, the Dordulian Group. They say 21 million victims worldwide are believed to be victims of forced labor. 1 in 6 endangered runaways reported in the United States are likely to become victims of sex trafficking, okay? So it happens. Miles Clee, in his review of the movie, there was one part of his review where he comments on the crowd he's surrounded by, okay? And the stomach-turning experience while watching this film. Nonetheless, he writes, nonetheless, the mostly white-haired audience around me could be relied on to gasp, moan in pity, mutter condemnations, applaud, and bellow amen at moments of righteous fury, like when Ballard declared that God's children are not for sale. I laugh because I could totally see, yes, computer noises. Let me know if the stream's still going well. Yeah, I'm laughing because I could totally see like older, let's say boomers, okay, watching this and going, amen, when this character apparently says, God's children. What does he say? What does he say? God's, I just had it here. God's children are not for sale. And you can see them going, amen, amen, Tim. And I laugh because I'm not the sentiment, okay? I understand people identifying with it and going, yeah, I totally agree, man. God's children are not for sale. But it's also kind of, you know, it's just funny to me to just watch something like that and go like, yes. And then go home and be like, yeah, that's true. And then what? What changes? What does that mean? Just kind of my thoughts on it, you know? What does that mean? God's children, right? God's children are not for sale. We're seeing them sold. What's changing? Anyways, I do appreciate the conversation, right? I mean, if this is happening and bringing attention to it or whatever, I won't decry that. but we have a tendency to feel like satisfied and I guess could we say politically fulfilled when we see content like this. It's like watching sports. Easier to watch sports than to go out and do something and achieve. Anyways, kind of rambling. Back to what I was saying here. Who was it? �💐💂💎. Now, I follow him on Twitter. I sometimes see his tweets. I don't know too much about him, but he tweeted this, okay? He said, what they won't admit. Here's what they won't admit. �💐💂 tweets, entire media calling Sound of Freedom a QAnon film, but ignores the fact that it was made in 2017 to 2018 before QAnon really even got going. I know why they're doing this. I just had to point it out. I mean, that could be true. Just reporting here some of the thoughts from the conservatives here. An interesting point, you know. You QAnon kooks, you're a QAnon weirdo. You probably think that they're sacrificing children to Moloch and using their blood for adrenochrome. You guys know what I'm talking about? I've heard some conspiracies about using children's blood as a highly psychoactive, powerful, and even age-reversing drug that only the elites use. That only the elites use. You can't get this stuff on eBay. And the elites subjugate the rest of the world and steal these and traffic these children to use their blood. Sounds fantastical, right? Sounds just absolutely just kooky. Check this BBC headline from 2011, okay? BBC headline from 2011. I'm not saying it's adrenochrome. I'm not saying this or that, but there's some things happening in the world. Okay, African children trafficked to UK for blood rituals. The royal family importing. See, they are racist. I'm playing around. I don't want to confuse people, but I am playing. This was a real headline, though. BBC headline, 2011. You know, there's the crazy, kooky, and weirdo stuff, and the stuff that the media, that, you know, people might use to obfuscate. But then there's like real things happening, like actual sex trafficking and whatever the heck this is. I don't know what the heck that was, but the BBC reported on it. Okay, you QAnon kook. That's so kooky. But let's take this in for a second. There's something that's kind of not so fantastical and kooky. We don't have to even go there. We don't have to even go all the way there. Because our American society is kind of geared towards, whether on purpose or not, whether by total accident or, you know how Satan influences people in the mind. The same thing is happening to leaders, politicians, people who make laws, and the individuals, your neighbors, your own neighbors, okay? And so in that, you know how Satan does that? Well, people may have been deceived that this is love, this is good, okay? But our American society is geared towards the predatory, okay? They, in many ways, make it easier for the predatory, okay? Just look at the destruction of the family. Look at the destruction of the family, mother and father, the order, God's order in the home. That is the open door. That is the door. That is the foot in the door for predators. Predators. You know what I mean? You guys agree. If you disagree, you could call. I see the calls on hold now. I will get to you. You see what I'm saying here, though? Where was I? You see what I'm saying here? Okay. The world is geared to the predatory, the destruction of the family, and then they teach this stuff in the schools, and they create a rift between the parents and the children. It's all geared to liberating the kid. Okay, think about this. Liberty. This is going to be a theme in today's show, okay? We got plenty to do today. Liberty. Think about liberty. There was a interesting talk about this on the Hake Report, big time. And even on the Joel Friday, sorta. Okay? Liberty. Catch those two shows. Great shows, great episodes today. They want to liberate the children from the parents and show them that they can be in charge. You are the god of your own body. Okay? You following? You're so right, Ogden Bell. I was not trafficked. People in the chat are saying I was trafficked. I was not trafficked. My mother, fair and square, she fair and square abused the immigration laws and had me in America. She trafficked herself. Okay, I was conceived in America. Okay, I know the story goes, my mama jumped over the border and had me in on. She might as well have done that. That's how anchor babies are made. But I was conceived in America. That's why I have an American heart. Okay. The world is geared to the predatory. That's where I was. And we're seeing that in many ways, okay? And I want to play you this clip this is apparently from the Gays for Groomers people. Do I have the clip? Tell me I have the clip. Traffic. Gays against groomers. You heard of this group? The gays against the groomers. The groomers are the adults. They say the groomers are the adults who brainwash the children with gender ideology and teaching them about LGBT stuff and telling them their body's their own and that you could be trans and all that, okay? The groomers. Well, the gays against groomers, Google says they are a far-right anti-LGBT organization. Well, they're saying, the gays against groomers, basically, they are advocates or supporters of LGBT, but they're against the grooming, okay? We're gay, but we're not groomers. We don't like that stuff. There is a video, a clip here by this woman who's with Gays for Groomers, speaking for Gays for Groomers. I don't know her name. I don't know much about her, but she has some commentary on kind of what I'm talking about right here. The world being geared towards the predatory. And it kind of went viral, and I want to play the clip, and we'll get into this beautiful footage here. Okay, hold on.
Hello, my name is Cassandra Perez.
Oh, no.
Please share this video with anybody.
That's not the video. Jumping the gun here. We're jumping the gun. You know what? I don't have the clip, but you know what's beautiful? You know what's fantastic? Billy, our engineer, with the tech coming through, I got the video here lined up in a different way, and I know you'll be able to hear it, and I know I'll be able to hear it. And it's all working beautifully. Let's get into this clip. Check it out. Snazzy tech. We got a green-haired gay against groomer, possibly, at least speaking for the gays against groomers, on a commentary here about what I'm talking about. Check it out.
Over 500,000 children that we know of go missing every year from the United States alone. And did you know that one of the biggest child trafficking operations happens during the Super Bowl? Slavery is actually worse today than it's ever been, even when it was legal. But a lot of people aren't ready to face that fact. That would mean acknowledging the role our government is actually playing in child and human trafficking. That would mean acknowledging the whistleblowers that are talking about high-profile individuals who purchase children. That would mean acknowledging that Jeffrey Epstein is not the only one, and his island is definitely not the only one. This has been going on for so long that these perverts are actually bored and ready to evolve and update their game. And their new focus just happens to be trans children. And in fact, the government is currently funding gender-affirming care and gender ideology and pushing highly sexualized materials on children that are as young as 5 years old. And people are either in denial or they don't care that books like Genderqueer and This Book is Gay that has actual porn in it are being pushed on kids and found in libraries by 11-year-olds. This is extremely distracting. They're not ready for this. It's too mature, and it's like no one cares about innocence anymore. They're trying to get rid of it as soon as possible. And they're not teaching kids to love their bodies or stranger danger, or bad touch, they're teaching kids to choose their sexual identity and preferences as soon as possible, which is extremely distracting for kids who are in development. We should know better. We all know that the brain doesn't develop until your mid-20s at the very least. So why are kids being encouraged to make these big decisions and run away from their parents to seek sanctuary? Where they're more likely to be trafficked, by the way. How are kids supposed to know what's right and wrong if they're being encouraged to talk to strangers about sex by things like the Trevor Project using the Trevor space? Kids are being taught that their bodies are wrong, biology is wrong, they can just divorce their bodies, it doesn't matter, it's just a sack of meat. And this is highly enticing for predators. So many of you don't realize that by advocating for youth liberation, you're siding with NAMBLA. You might not want to believe it, but the truth is there are special interest groups funding every aspect of our society to brainwash the youth in a way that benefits child and human traffickers. They're saying it's all for acceptance of the LGBTQ, and that is a lie. Human traffickers want trans kids because it's their new fetish, and keeping kids on puberty blockers keeps them looking youthful longer, which means that they can be sold more. This is mass-scale grooming, and most of you don't want to accept that. This is why Gays Against Groomers exists. Say what you want about us, believe what you want about us, but we know who we are and what we're up against. Do you? Go see The Sound of Freedom. The kids need us.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Based. Based or not? Some of you saying not based. I mean, I don't disagree. What can you just? I don't necessarily disagree. She all into the Epstein and all that. And I don't know much about all that. But I don't think you even have to go that far. Okay, like I was saying, the government funding gender ideology in schools, and just parents. Think about parents and the hate in the home, anger in the home, pushing the children away from the father. Okay, our society is geared towards the predatory, towards evil. Its directionality or whatever is down, not up. You know what I mean? And so I don't necessarily disagree. Okay. Now she's saying the gays against groomers. We know who we are. Say what you will about it. Okay. But aren't the gays the groomers though? Okay. Maybe not all of them. Okay. Some of them don't. Maybe they don't agree with. Maybe they know what they're into, but maybe they're, Sean says, soldiers against shooting. Similar thing here. It's like, aren't the gays the groomers? Let me just say, maybe not all of them, right? Because some people, maybe they know it's not right and they want to overcome and don't know how. Or maybe they're not all into pushing the gay stuff. They've accepted it within themselves but aren't pushing it, right? So not all gays are groomers, right? I have to say this, though. The way gay propagates is by inflicting trauma on the next generation. It's just how it is. It's not a accusation against every single gay person that they are looking at children in a predatory way. I want to propagate my gayness by traumatizing them. No, many of them don't even know themselves that that's what they're doing, because that's the nature of anger and hate. You're subject to the thoughts, the mind. Your father's the devil. You following me? And so you can't help but do evil. And that's how gay gets propagated, by trauma and by inflicting it, okay? You can't judge because they don't even know themselves that that's what they're doing. But sorry, gays against groomers, that's how it gets propagated. That's what's happening, okay? I'm sorry. But this lady is on it. I mean, think about it. Even if it's overt, or if it's by accident because people are dumb and just doing the bidding of evil without knowing themselves, okay? Whichever one it is, she's not wrong when she says that those that want child liberation, sexual liberty, and stuff like that, they're siding with the pedos, the NAMBLA, all that stuff, the people who want children liberated, okay? Here's the thing. That's sexualized material in the classroom. Sexualized material. This is the role of sexualized material, really, to all humanity, to children especially. Okay, the role of sexualized material. It represents the tree of knowledge. Okay, They want the children to eat from the tree of knowledge to make them gods and liberate them, which is really a lie. Really, truly, to enslave them. Okay, it's really to enslave. It's a false liberty, a false carrot that Satan puts in front of you. You can be free. You can be like a god. It's your own body. You don't need your parents. That's the role of sexualized material. It is the tree of knowledge before time. You know what I mean? You follow me here? Hello? Like my old pastor? Like my old family's pastor? Hello? Suddenly everybody wakes up. It's the tree of knowledge, okay? The sexualized material. Now, where was I? Gender, care, blah, blah, blah. And so that's the noise behind this QAnon film and kind of just my commentary on it. What else? That's pretty much what I had to say about it. Let's see here. I think that's all I had to say about it. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to say about the film. But I want to talk about this next thing. I want to bring up a story about sex trafficking. I'm going to plow through this real quick, and I'm going to get to the calls. Thank you for holding. Take this in. We're talking about trafficking. We're talking about the media response and how the society really is geared towards the predatory, whether it's overt or not. It's happening quite naturally, in my opinion, because this is the nature of evil. Okay? And I'm sure there's evil people out there trying to push weird things, and, you know, I'm sure that's happening. And I don't deny that. Ooh, should I play the movie trailer? I can with all this snazzy tech. I can play this movie trailer. Let's play this movie trailer right after I'll do the call. I want to do this thing here because we're talking about trafficking. I want to bring you this story that has to do with sex trafficking today. And I think this story can bring us a little insight, okay? Because the movie is full of emotion and it's bombastic and you hear the stats and it's sex trafficking and we need to stand up for the children and we need to stand up for God and Christians need to take back the children and the gays against groomers. Okay, so and it gets people riled up. You're like, this is happening. We're really living in Satan's world. Okay, and you're following the emotion. Okay, let's sober up with this story that's happening right now. Missing girl found at Camp Pendleton Marine Barracks after family claims she was sold for sex. Okay, this is a story that came out pretty recently. Earlier this July. And it's this 14-year-old girl whose family is claiming she was sold to a U.S. Marine for sex and has been found at this Camp Pendleton in California, okay, 2 weeks after she went missing. The girl was first declared missing on June 13th, 4 days after some relatives said she ran away from her grandmother's house. Grandmother's house. Okay, so the girl's not living in she's living at the grandmother's house? Maybe she was just visiting. However, her aunt claims the teen had been sold into sex trafficking, okay? And this aunt went on TikTok and social media and put out this clip, okay? And Daily Mail is confirming, this is confirmed by the Naval Criminal Investigative Services that there is, in fact, a Marine who was taken into custody for questioning for this very thing. And the family here is alleging that the military is trying to cover it up. This aunt went on social media and she put out this video. Let's watch the footage because we're talking about it. Check it out.
Hello, my name is 𝒏𝒊𝒂𝒎. Please share this video with anybody and everybody. My niece is under the age of 18 and has learning disabilities. On June 10th, she went missing. And on June 27th, she was found on Camp Pendleton. Camp Pendleton is a military base in Oceanside, San Diego. She was found in the barracks by military police. She had been sold to a soldier for sex. The military is trying to cover it up. They're trying to cover it up and place majority of the blame on her. However, the reality is the whole facility allowed this to happen. The security looked her in the face and allowed this man to bring a minor onto base, where he then proceeded to have sex with her. Due to her age, she could not have given this consent. We hope you would join us in calling and demanding both release of details as well as the pursuit of justice. Our family is worried about retaliation from the military and the man that has trafficked my niece. We believe they could be working together and covering this up, and that the military is only trying to protect their property.
Yes, Hake, that was in fact a face tattoo. That was Cassandra Perez talking about the situation I just reported on, okay? And it's like, let's get this out of the way. We all understand that we want this girl returned home. You know, maybe you don't want to, but you can understand, so let's be real, nobody cares. But in general, people want this girl returned. No, they don't want this sex trafficking happening. They don't want any of this. Okay, so I'm not again. I don't want sex trafficking, but I want to point a couple things out that I think gets missed in all the emotion and all the stuff here. Okay. The girl was first declared missing June 13th, 4 days after some relatives said she ran away. Why did she run away? And why was she running away from her grandmother's house? I don't know about you guys, but I was raised by my grandmother because I had a odd family situation, not a broken home and all that. I wouldn't pass the strap test. Shout out to anybody who knows what that is. But it just seems odd. Why wasn't she with the mother? Why wasn't she with the father? However, her aunt claims the teen had been sold into sex trafficking. So okay, ran away. Kids don't just run away from home. Okay, even in pretty bad homes, if there's problems, kids don't just run away because they don't have a place to go to. Okay? Kids don't just pick up and go. Even if it's pretty bad at home, they need a support, a fallback, a support system should they do something like that. Something that would give them the comfort to take the leap and run away from home. Okay? The victim's grandmother told the authorities she had run away several times before, but had always previously returned. Hold up. We got issues in the home. The grandmother told the authorities that she ran away several times before. So she ran away from the grandmother several times, may have been living with her. Doesn't sound like she was just visiting. The security looked her in the face and allowed this man to bring a minor onto base. Okay, so this little girl was with this Marine. According to the story, they walked in and the security saw them and made no attempts to do anything. Let's just look at this common sense, okay, guys? Let's look at this like common sense. If you're a security guard, you may think, okay, this guy walking in with this young girl might be weird. But if there's nothing overtly wrong, like some girl, she's like tied up and maybe taped up in the mouth, right? Like, let me free. That might raise some suspicion, but apparently the security guards, were they paid off? Were they part of the conspiracy, Nick? I'm just commenting on the news, okay? They had no issue with it. In the video, you saw Cassandra Perez say they're trying to put all the blame on the girl. And then the whole facility allowed this to happen. And due to her age, she could not have given consent. Okay, I know she's little. I know that she's a 14-year-old. What was it, 12 or 14? And I know that adults have this power. They have like an influence and power over children. And I know they should be protected. But this is the whole sex trafficking thing I've never understood. Now, if the story is someone's tied up, these little children are being tied up and at gunpoint, being sold. Yeah, that sounds like the sex trafficking stuff. But if it's this young girl running away from grandma's house, believing some Marine, possibly his stories of, hey, you can have it better with me, maybe even agreeing to weird things like sex. Yeah, she's young. Yeah, I get it, guys. She's young, but what about those Epstein girls? They were young and seemed to be okay with doing some of the stuff they were doing. You following me here? It's not so hunky-dory, clean cut. These evil. I'm not denying what the movie said or the statistics. I'm just trying to bring a little bit of a sobering take on all this, okay? We ask a lot of soldiers. He can't have some comfort, asked Mr. Dave. Too soon, Mr. Dave. That was a joke, right? Obviously, Mr. Dave. You following me here, guys? It's just kind of my thinking on it. It's not quite so clear cut. Okay, there's kind of multiple parts to blame here. The parents themselves, and the corruption of the children, which happens. Children can be corrupt. Okay? Okay? You see what I'm saying here? The question is, who sold her to the soldier? Asks Starred Baby. Great question. Not really, like, it's not clear, right? Some, what are y'all saying in the chat? I think all kids think of running away, but actually doing it is different. Yeah, totally. So that's just my thinking about it, okay? There's multiple things going on here. It's no such thing as a blameless victim. So true, just a regular guy. And I learned that from the Hake Report. And I agree. You should victim blame. At least we get a full picture about what's really going on, okay? I got Lucas from California on the air. Appreciate your call. Lucas, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Nick? How you doing?
Just fine, man. Thanks. Go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to talk about, well, first of all, you were talking about 𒒏💄💂💄💄, I'll call them 𒒏💄💂💄💂. And,
yes.
I saw, because I've caught like around 17 of them before, and I've realized that.
When you say caught, you mean when you do the trapping thing and bring them out in public and you like, hey, aren't you here to meet a 14-year-old?
Yeah, no, I caught him. Yeah, I caught him. Yeah, I have videos of it. On my channel, but I'm not trying to share my channel.
Okay.
And I realized that not all homosexuals are those people, but pedos are all homosexuals. All of them are homosexuals. All of them are homosexuals. So I'm just saying there's something evil about that. Going on to my question, talking about homoservatives.
Sure, I want you to get into that. I had to comment on that. What you're describing, man, is the degeneration of man. They give it a nice name like homosexuality, and like it's something you could just be. But they're just all you're describing is the animal degeneration of man, which is as old as time itself. Okay, people have been animalistic into their perversions as time immemorial. Yeah. So, they just gave it a nice name. So when you say, usually these pedos are gay, it's all the same thing. It's the sinful, degenerating mentality.
Yeah, so I wanted to I don't think I was able to get the question off to Joel, but I want to get the question off to you about, what do you think about parents telling their kids, they are pretty much telling their kids, oh, you can't be a homosexual or be a transgender until you're an adult. Instead of saying, no, that's wrong, that's evil, no, that's degenerate, that's wrong. And instead the parents are saying, no, don't do this to our kids, wait till they're older and then they can do whatever they want. Do you see where I'm coming from?
I do, and I understand what you're saying. Basically, if I may summarize it, there's the current kind of fight with the parents versus the schools on teaching gay to the children and all that stuff. And they seem to stop short.
There's a fear in the parents. There's a fear in the parents to just say this is wrong overall. Mm-hmm. Not that, whenever they're adults or what, this is evil stuff.
Correct.
This is not how society, there's a fear of people saying that.
Correct. And people are saying that they're not going far enough. They say, well, just leave the kids out of it. But that is essentially still agreeing with the LGBT premise that you can even be gay and all that stuff, okay? And I understand. I've heard some of this. I've even talked about it myself, about that kind of halfway weakness of the parents, okay? And that's a fair criticism, okay? But let's take that same scenario you're describing and let's put it in the context of the home. A mother, a father, and their kids. And the kids growing up. Don't you think if you had that same mentality in the home, no, it's not just up until you're 18, you cannot be gay, son. And if you are, that's the same spirit that pushed these kids into it in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
because you don't have to do it with
anger. You don't have to yell at them.
Fair enough. Doesn't mean fair enough. I see what you're saying. A father with no anger saying the truth. Hey, no, that's just not right. That's fair. But the reality remains that once your kid is an adult, yeah, they will. They are not. They might and have the right to or whatever. What I'm trying to say is that yeah, as much as you may want to be strong on that, which despite whatever spirit you do it in, the kids become adults and do their own thing. Like, that's just the truth. I think a parent has to accept that.
Yeah, the whole it's America. You can do what you want. I get that, but what I'm pretty much criticizing is the people that protest, but they're hypocrites. You know what I mean? That it's like, but however, they're actors. You know, like they want to just go out there and fight. I think I told Joel that. Yeah, they just want to go out there and fight. So I just don't like the actors. You know what I mean? But,
if you're gonna go out and fight against this, it's not just the kids. I see what you're saying. It should be like a wholehearted rejection of the whole thing, because it all works together. LGBT, trans. It's not just when you're an adult. But do you disagree that is like a true statement? When they're adults, they're going to do what they do. I think the sooner parents accept that.
But we shouldn't let them know that. We should.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We should just know that though inside. Like, we should just know that. I think a part of the whole fight and the protest and I get where the parents are coming from, but some of it's coming from the wrong spirit. But I think that excitement is coming from that, thinking that you can't let your kid be gay. You can't let that happen. When it's like, look at all the stuff you've allowed in your life. I think the anger and the excitement is coming from some of that. But I see what you're saying. It is weak. It is weak.
I'm criticizing my so-called my side, but I don't pick sides and everything. But the people that I thought were doing the right thing, they're really actually acting crazy in the street.
Man, so true. And this is a story that's really old. Two sides fighting, and people in the future and looking back and making weird conclusions. What you're talking about is something I'm going to talk about later in the show. It's true, man. There's definitely a weakness in the parents going like, "Oh, just leave our kids alone."
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard on Joel. I told him that at these things, I went to both of the Glendale things. There's the kids from the schools are there, so there's kids that are mimicking the parents, and they're not even. They're just attacking the news and attacking like leftists, like small news or like Twitter people, whatever. And it's like they're just yelling and screaming, and it's like at people that are in line to go in the student council meeting. It's just like it's hectic, and there's kids that are doing it too. This one kid, But yeah, anyways, you have a show to do.
Man, Lucas, thanks for your call. Call me again.
All right, thank you, man. You have a good one.
Take care. Moving the wheels. I got Brian, North Carolina. You're on the air.
Thanks, Nick. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Just fine, sir. And yourself?
Right on. I'm doing well. That video you just showed, with the tattoo face.
Yeah, Cassandra. Yeah, okay. The trafficking in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, was that a news report in its whole? Was that two separate videos?
I'm sorry, which two videos?
Okay, so it was just one video.
Yeah, I just played one video on this missing girl found at Camp Pendleton.
I heard you mention that somebody reported that the grandmother reported that she had ran away several times.
Correct. I ended up. After playing the video, I read the article, and in the article, the grandmother reported that she ran away several times.
Right. So, like, I'm putting all that together, man, and something's just not adding up. With the story, and we don't know what happened, but right. I can tell you right now, something's not adding up, because something else I noticed in the video was that Cassandra tried to say that they're putting the blame on the 14-year-old girl. But the 14, and then in the same breath, she turned around and said that she's not old enough to give consent.
Yep.
So that in my mind, she's not the one that's being held responsible right now. It's the parents, and it sounds like somebody's trying to place some blame somewhere else. But again, we don't know. The other thing I noticed,
but it's
is
a
that
fantastic point, man, because the story you were being told, that's the story of the whole sex trafficking thing in general. That it's these blameless little tulips, which that may be happening. Okay, that may be happening, but I'm just, you know what I mean? I got the same suspicion as you do. Go ahead.
I don't think we're hearing about that though, because I think those situations are more than likely being handled. I think a lot of the stuff that you're seeing is this woe is me, when really they need to be taking responsibility. But besides the point. Another point is something I noticed was that not until the very end of the video did she mention the actual sex trafficker. She said that she was fearful of military retaliation and of the sex trafficker retaliation.
Yeah.
But she never mentioned anything about the sex trafficker.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, she's saying, just to be clear, the reason she didn't, she made it clear in the longer video that she didn't want to put out the name of the trafficker or whatever because of the Marine. She will if she has to, but she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to what's it called, like mess up the investigation.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, wait. So she's calling the Marine the trafficker. She's not saying that the Marine was given to her. The girl was given to the Marine by a sex trafficker.
I see what you're asking now, and I actually don't know. It wasn't clear to me either. I don't know if she meant a third party or the Marine.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard it the other way around.
You may be right. We might have to play it again now. But yeah, go on. What do you want to say about it?
Say again?
Go on, though. Make your statement.
I was just pointing out. You made some really good points. I was just pointing out those two little things that I noticed in the video, and it's just making it something's not adding up about it. And Correct. That's not to say, like you said, that's not to say that things like this don't happen.
Correct.
But in the way I'm looking at it, the child ran away several times. This is not the first time, and we're talking about a 14-year-old in this day and age. Probably came across a Marine, and he took her back to the barracks, and
let's be real. Let's be real, okay? You're not going to hear it from anywhere else.
And then,
okay?
and then she gets caught because normally she returns home, but this time she's in trouble because she didn't return home. They found her.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now, let's do what my parents do, which is negate responsibility.
Bing! Let's just be real, guys. Let's be real. You're not going to hear it anywhere else, okay? I'm obviously not going against defending sex trafficking, okay? It's just that other people are already making that point, okay? Sound of Freedom is out. Go watch it. I'm here giving you a little bit of something different. Thanks, Brian. I totally agree.
Right on.
So true. Man. Just keeping it real.
Yep. That's how the young boys say, keeping it real. That's what you're doing. Keeping it real.
Yeah. Right on, Brian. Thank you.
All right, brother. Hey, I'm enjoying the show, man. Take care, all right?
Call me again. Moving the wheels.
Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you could do about him because he's number one. Whether you like him or don't like him, there's nothing you can do about him because he's number one.
Okay. Let's see what else do we got here. We got plenty of show for all of you today. I wanted to talk about this one woman, Colleen Ballinger. But you know what? Let's move on because I got other things to talk about here. But real quick, Colleen Ballinger, I played her ukulele apology video recently, if you guys remember. And we were cringing. We were cringing hard, okay? It was this woman. She's a YouTuber, comedian person. And she put out this video of her playing a ukulele. And it's this long video of her apologizing because there are allegations against her. She was basically getting Me Too'd. And the allegations are surrounding some improper conversations she had with some of her younger fans. And so it looked pretty bad. It looked bad. And she played the ukulele, and it's like, all right, that's cringe, lady. And I played it, and I laughed at it. I also said, hey, don't apologize to the world because, that's just ego anyways. You're just trying to defend the ego anyways. But I didn't know much about her, and we moved on, okay? And I was going to talk about her because... and I am talking about her now. I might as well just continue because we're talking about the sex trafficking stuff, okay? And Colleen Ballinger, you can look into it yourself. You might find it interesting. She was basically Me Too'd back in the day, a couple years ago, by one of her young fans, okay? A young fan, Andrew, what is it? Adam McIntyre, who she basically she had fans. She was growing up. She became famous on YouTube for her character Miranda Sings. Let me see if I can even pull up a picture. Dang, we're just doing this story straight up, I guess, huh? I see your calls coming in, 888-775-3773. I will get to you. But we're talking about Miranda Sings, this YouTuber. And as you can see, she wears this like wild red lipstick. And that's her brand, okay? Her brand is this Miranda Sings person. And this is Colleen Ballinger when she's not Miranda Sings, looking a little bit more normal. Okay, and what's the point here? Let me be quick. She was getting Me Too'd by this Adam McIntyre, okay? She basically had a fan that was running a fan account, okay, that was just all about Miranda Sings. And she was impressed, and she reached out to this Adam McIntyre, who was 13 at the time, and said, hey, you want to be my social media intern? I'll give you access to the Twitter account. You could post stuff. We'll see what happens. Anyways, he posts something that was a little too spicy. She removes him from being the social media intern, and he didn't like it and goes on and basically Me Too's her, says we were all in a group chat. Her and her other young fans were all in a group chat. And he put out that she basically, again, I didn't know anything about this woman, but I happened upon her story. And I had to say, this is pretty wrong that they're Me Tooing her like this, because they were like really so benign, these comments. She made a comment about, you know, maybe some sexual things that are like, hey, wasn't too explicit, but, you know, it's like you imagine these young fans all in a group chat, okay? Anybody been in a group chat? And they're all talking about stuff, and someone brings up sex. And then Colleen Ballinger jumps in just briefly. She has since apologized and said, okay, maybe it was inappropriate. But this Adam McIntyre kid, okay, has clearly learned from the feminine world, wanting to Me Too her, and is acting like a
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So
you hearing this? That's Adam McIntyre. I'm trying to show you his front page of his YouTube channel, and it's all this cloudy, looking for attention. It was so inappropriate what Colleen did. This is the opening video to his channel. It's basically all about this gossip about my relationship with Colleen Ballinger, which nothing happened. And he's all acting like a little Fargoth.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I am aware that the last video I posted is...
This is what the Me Too, sex trafficking stuff, okay? And I'm not decrying the real sex trafficking. We all know that's happening. But this is what the Me Too, sex trafficking, I got sexually abused. This is what it's creating, these little Fargoths. This is a goth person. That's what I mean by that word. I mean goth person.
It's being talked about a lot.
These little effeminate Me Tooers.
And I wanted to continue on the conversation because it has...
I was so hurt. Look, anyways, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna get too into it, but I had to tell you guys, I'm defending Colleen, okay? I don't know a thing about her, and I've never watched her YouTube channel. Maybe I'm wrong for doing that. But I'm sticking up for Colleen. Yeah, Hake, he's all excited. He's all excited too. Oh my God, he's all excited to Me Too this person. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. This is what we're getting. What an English cigarette. Am I right? What a bundle of sticks. Okay, let me move on here. We got a caller. We got callers. We got more things to do. I want to talk about something. Okay, I'm gonna take your call right now there, but I want to tease what we're about to get into. You're gonna want to stick around. We're talking about how a man handles the perfect way of handling a woman, and what a woman truly desires. Okay, it's gonna be good. I got William from California on the air. Appreciate your call, William. How you been?
Yeah, I know you're trying to move on from that subject. I seen that story yesterday, and it's been a long time since I've checked in with you, man. How you doing?
I know it's been a while, William. Thanks for your call. And from which story specifically? The
Marine. I seen that yesterday about Camp Pendleton.
Yep.
Now, there's some guys in the chat there's some guys in the chat, and I'm sure they know they're veterans. I was not, but I seen a version of the barracks in the 60s when my father was in the Marine Corps at Camp Pendleton, And the barracks do not look like the barracks of yesterday. So it might be a little easier to get this girl in there.
Huh.
But I did read where NCIS is taking their sweet time about getting to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Because
and NCIS is
Naval
Criminal Investigative Service. Okay.
But yeah. So.
And you're saying they're taking their time on this?
Well,
I wouldn't honestly be surprised that the military would want to cover something up like this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I about the grandma's house thing, I remember being a little disobedient to my parents, and the grandma and grandpa's house was the last place I would run from. Because everything that mom and dad said no about, they said yes.
Mm. Exactly. Wait, say that again. I might have missed it.
Way. Nick, I got my way at my grandparents' house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that's across the board. But if it doesn't make sense, it's usually not true.
Yeah, there's details about it. It's just a little odd. Don't you agree with my suspicions here? Now, I don't disagree that the military would want have some what's it called, motivation to want to cover this up or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. But
Pendleton's a very secure place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as secure as it used to be because I don't know if you know, the military used to carry guns on the base. So
now they don't?
It's a lot more secure than it is now. No, they don't.
For real?
Yeah,
does that make any sense?
Well, look what happened at Fort Hood.
Okay. What happened in Fort Hood? I might remember if you describe it.
That guy that was a counselor or something and came on the base and opened fire on everybody.
Right.
What was that about? 10 years ago, right?
Right. Hake is reminding me Fort Hood is a gun-free zone.
Correct.
Wow.
Now, it is still a military base, though.
Right.
You have MPs.
Right,
I don't
okay.
know.
And the MPs
These are not
armed.
the same type of barracks as the 1960s. I've seen a little documentary on how they live, and you would be surprised if some of these barracks, depending on which base it is, are pretty nice, man. Some of these guys got private rooms.
Well, according to Spoiler Alert in the chat, says U.S. military barracks now have private rooms for the most part, except during training.
That's what
usually.
I've seen.
Just like college dorms.
They look like college dorms.
Right,
now.
and those college dorms, especially lately, are full of, honestly, straight up, just nasty, just
a
party.
lot of stuff going on in the college dorm. Yeah. So, it is not the same barracks of a Marine in 1965. No, it's not the same barracks.
Fair enough.
Like somebody in the chat just
you
said,
had similar you have experiences in the barracks and all that.
I don't. My father was in the Marines.
Gotcha, that's who it was.
Okay, but he was in the military. He was a United States Marine in Camp Pendleton during the Kennedy Johnson administration. That's a long time ago, bro.
That's cool. Wow.
And just seeing somebody said Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, look at the barracks at Full Metal Jacket during the Vietnam era, and compared to what they have now.
Now, private. What was the Private Pike? Who was the private who lost his mind in Full Metal Jacket?
I'm not sure about that one. Oh yeah.
Private Pyle.
Yeah, Private Pyle.
Private Pyle's pretty comparing him to the women of the military and transgenders of the military today. Private Pyle looking kind of like a stand-up soldier.
Pretty much, because what they have in there right now is totally. I think they've gotten away from. Like I said, I wasn't in, but you do have veterans in the chat. They can confirm this. I think they've gotten away from the bun. You know, the bun for the women.
Yes, right. They gel their hair back, and then they put it in that big bun for the military ladies.
That's correct. Now, do you know why they make them put it in a bun? Yeah, it's etiquette. It's manners. It looks better. It's more uniform. But you have some things in the military they can grab your ponytail and just shred you to pieces.
Even just loose clothing is a death sentence against a trained fighter.
Well, right now they're letting them wear that stuff. Those weaves and everything are all out now.
Right.
Well, it's for the last 3 years. It's been that way.
That's wild, man. And now I heard, recently now they're letting them paint their nails and all that.
They are.
Women. I've seen videos of these women doing their military hair, and it's just like, what am I watching? Like they're like, oh, and I'm gonna gel it up and da-da-da, but then you have to. It's a sobering reality when you realize, wait a second, this person is in the military.
Do you think that the girl in the video was reaching? I think she was.
The girl in which video?
The aunt of the child of the 14-year-old.
Yes, I think
she was reaching.
I think the vagueness in some of her claims is on purpose, because there can be another side to this, a side that won't make them and their family look that good, and I think that's why it's being hidden.
Well, I'll tell you something. She didn't do all her homework. I'm looking at her saying to myself, she's trying to get a payday. And I'm saying to myself, but she didn't do all her homework. You forgot something, young lady. You cannot sue the U.S. government.
Oh, is that so?
No, you cannot.
It sounds like something you can't do. It sounds like a fool's errand.
A government job, military, you cannot sue any of them.
Like as in like it's actually not possible, or it would be hard to do so?
Pretty hard, bro.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolutely, it'd be a fool's errand.
Oh, no, they're going to tell you, probably going to tell you, like I said, these guys in the chat, there's some veterans, they're going to tell you to walk.
Wow. Yeah.
Or no, seriously, they're going to tell you to walk and call it a day, or we will escort you off this base.
I mean, at that point, you're pretty much on your own.
Pretty much.
Going up against all that might be just worse for your life.
You're going up against the United States government, the military. Come on. You got too many layers to get through.
It feels like you better have a good case and a lot of money.
You got officers that are going to protect their brigades, and they're going to be loyal to their soldiers. That's why they're hard on you in boot camp, because they're trying to mold you into a machine. They're not trying to do individuals. That's why they break you down so far. They're trying to build you up as a machine, and not 2 or 3 people. They're doing this with 800 people at the same time. They're not going to make room for one person.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole motto. That's the only way it all works. This is like one of the most ancient facets of a battalion. It's to break down the individual. That is like 101.
I mean, I was looking at General Washington, last night, a documentary on General Washington, and how depleted his soldiers were, and up against the Brits, and he had to start from scratch with these soldiers morale was down and everything. So you can see all the similarities that they have now. They had them then.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, man.
You know the stupidest thing I used to think? I used to think generals were kind of like wimps. And somebody told me, how do you think he became a general?
Oh, okay, I get it. Easier to say, easier to teach than do, easier to order than do.
Hey,
that's probably true for a lot of.
You don't want to mess with a general. I'm just telling you, he's not just an old man.
I see.
He's not just an old man. He's a general.
There's probably all kinds, right? Brave and smart ones, and also cowards who just got there through schooling or affirmative action.
You know what, Nick? For the most, we got that too. But for the most part, a general is a general.
Well, that's for sure. It's their a general is a general. I mean, I can't disagree with that statement.
Straight up general, and it's far away from a corporal.
That's true as well.
Yeah. Well, I did the full cycle today. I've seen all the shows. I'd never done this.
Yeah, William, thanks for that.
And I wanted to support you.
You saw Joel Friday as well?
I sure did. That was
Let's
my
go.
first time seeing his show, and I was very impressed.
Nice. I'm glad. Yeah, you definitely got to catch it every
Give
Tuesday.
him a message that I looked at him for the first time today, and I subscribed.
Let's go. Joel Friday TV. You guys are going to want to check out his channel out.
Yeah, I'm going to turn everybody on to all you guys. I do that with you. I did that with him. I did that with James.
Thank you, William. I know you've been. I know you've been listening, and somewhere in there. Thanks for calling me again. I know it's been a while. Appreciate that. Call me again.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. I just wanted to chat with you. I didn't really plan on calling, but I did see that story yesterday.
Nice.
And let's take a look at the fact that NCIS is not making a move like fast. They're not doing that.
Yeah, I mean the media panic and all that. That's the logical course of action. If you're the military, you want to keep that under wraps.
They're going to get to the bottom of how this child got on that base.
Right.
So they're taking their time. They're gonna unfold all the pages.
Yeah, we'll see, William.
Your grandmother said she ran away plenty of times. If it don't make sense, it's usually not true.
Big time. Yeah, there's definitely suspicions. I got questions. We'll see what happens, William.
Yeah.
Hey, call me again big time, William. Appreciate your call. It's nice to hear from you again.
I will, man. Take care.
Thanks for
Everybody else,
watching.
you have a good day.
Super. Oh, sorry, William. I hung up on you mid-sentence, but we're moving the wheels. Much appreciated there, sir. Yeah. We got questions. We've had problems. Okay. Check this out. Is this haram? Is this haram? Is this haram? You're going to want to watch the video because it's going to go by quick. We'll play it again if need be. Is this haram? What a mess. Hold on. I didn't even show you the clip. Is this haram? What the?
Reduce your expectations to zero.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? It was a quick little TikTok, okay? You're going to want... Did you miss that? It was a little joke, okay? It seems like a Muslim woman and her man. And the caption reads, "When a girl comes to shake hands with your man, but Islam got you covered." Okay? Did you miss that? Let's play it again.
Reduce your expectations to zero.
It's haram. It's haram. It's forbidden to shake a woman's hand. That's haram. That's haram. As opposed to halal. Haram, which is forbidden. No, it's just stupid. Lame. This reminded me of a JLP show. Jesse Lee Peterson saying that women and men shouldn't be shaking women's hands, and that it should feel weird. You should be a little concerned. You should be feeling a little weird. Like, hold on. You should be questioning a little bit. Like, there's something not normal about this. Why are you shaking women's hands? It's haram. Okay, you shouldn't be shaking a woman's hand. Look at based Islam, who's clearly stronger than cringe Christianity, and you got these Christians shaking hands. At least the Muslims are based enough to say that's haram. I think I'm gonna convert. I bet you a lot of young white people feel this way. I've seen this sentiment of some people who will go Muslim because they see it's like an overreaction to the weakness of Christianity. I think that's what the Tate brothers, or I think maybe it's just Andrew Tate. He's like a Muslim now, right? I think partly that's why people like him do that, because they overreact basically to the weakness of Christians. They're weak to women, and they're okay with LGBT and whatever. And so they think, well, look at these base Muslims putting the women in, subduing the women, putting them in the hijabs. Yeah, I'm going to go with the base religion. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an overreaction. in my opinion. It's haram. That is haram. No, that is haram. I will go with Sharia law because I'm Muslim. I will go with Sharia law. What are you guys saying? Doesn't mean it's the way to go. Fair enough, Pete Wilkins. Fair enough. I agree. Doesn't mean you got to go with another overreaction because maybe the Muslims are overreacting themselves. You don't reject one overreaction for another. But can we agree it's haram? Can we agree it's haram to shake a woman's hand? Okay, you guys are answering the question here. You guys are dodging the question here. Is it haram or not to shake a woman's hand? Can we agree on something here? Speaking of men and women and how to handle them, I want to talk a little bit about this, okay? We're seeing the fruits of the destruction of the men and women in the home, okay? We're seeing this. As we spoke about it briefly, about the way the world is engaged and geared towards the predatory, breaking up the family. We talked about this recent shows, child support and stuff like that. Okay, we're seeing divorce rates. We're seeing mental illness in women explode, okay? We saw that stat, which is like 40% of women are on antidepressants, of millennial women. No, they're not having sex, so there's no we disavow sex out of wedlock, but that's not even that's happening. That's going down a lot as well. Men and women are not interacting. They're opting out. Birth rates going down, okay? We're seeing that happen, okay? And a lot has changed between men and women. A lot has changed over the years and even in my own lifetime. But I grew up in this world. I grew up in this world where things are equality, where things are equal, where the woman has been liberated, okay? The liberty of the woman, sexually liberated as well. Where people are out of the closet, they have been liberated. They are free from the judgments of the world. They're false judgments because love is love. You should be liberated and be who you are. I grew up in that world. I grew up, and many of you as well, okay? Many of you agree with me and grew up in that world and find yourselves in this 50-50 relationship with women, okay? Even some of you have heard that the order of God is man over woman, woman over children and stuff like that. You can't help but have this habit of having this 50-50 relationship with the woman, okay? A lot of us grew up in that world. But we still see vestiges of the old world. We still see vestiges of the world before men and women decided to meet in the middle, okay? And we see that expressed in the for example, in the macho, in the macho husband and the feminine female and the stay-at-home mother and the working father. We see that expressed in that polarity between men and women, a polarity which is largely it's being blurred together, but that polarity between men and women still exists. But we're seeing the fruits of it trying to be blurred and men and women meeting in the middle, okay? And like I said, I grew up in this world where we meet in the middle. But where was I? Okay, yeah. We see vestiges of the old way, okay? It's expressed in the for example, it used to be not even that long ago. Men worked, they went out, they handled the finances, they pretty much led in that way. And in that sense, they held a lever of control and power over the relationship in the home. Well, they made the money. Well, they went out and made it happen. Well, they made the decisions. And in other ways, women, even in that world, they held their own levers of control and influence. It was, by way of sex and by way of, let's say, surreptitious whispers, okay? They had a different role. They had a different dynamic, okay? And honestly, a lot of us grew up in this world where men and women are coming out of that dynamic and they're meeting in the middle, okay? The men are okay with not having to be macho and kind of being more feminine and being okay with their emotions. And the women are working and being leaders in the home and leaders in their places of work, okay? A lot has changed. Personally, I grew up in that world, but we're seeing that we know this polarity between men and women. Space Cadet says there is no 50-50 when she makes more than you as an administrative assistant. In the old days, they used to take a woman's hand and kiss the back of it. Interesting, Albert C. But where was I? I'm describing the dynamic between men and women, how they're coming out of that dynamic and it's a 50-50 thing, okay? But that has made relationships dead. It's killing them. It's killing men and women, okay? Because there is a polarity between male and female. And now that men and women have come out of this old way and now they've met in the middle, they have discovered that both men and women can exhibit this spirit. They can exhibit aspects of the male and the female. That it's not actually tied up only with your biology, okay? Men and women have come out of that and have now discovered that you can exhibit aspects of the other. Now, is that good? Is that a good thing? And why? And all that? We can get into that. But they have discovered that, okay? But in that same way, we are ignoring this polarity between the male and female. This polarity which even the gays get. Even the gays get this, okay? That's why there's a male and a female in a gay relationship, okay? Even they get it, okay? Let's be real. You know, who's the man in the relationship? You've heard that before. This is true, okay? The LGBT people, the gays and the lesbians, they're quite aware of this polarity, which the rest of us are being told to ignore, okay? You need the two poles, okay? You need the polarity. Okay, you followed me so far? Space Cadet says, most relationships is his money is our money and her money is also her money. Where was I? Okay. Yeah, even the gays get that, right? That there is a masculine and a feminine. What was I talking about here? So I'm talking about men and women. And I want to describe a little story I heard about the $1 million question. Okay, we're going to discuss the $1 million question. It's a story. It's a story of a short story. It's not even long at all. It's just a very short situation. A story of a man coming home to his woman and telling her how he made $1 million. And I think this story really describes numerous things about handling women, okay? And about what masculine is and feminine is, okay? And the story goes, the man made $1 million. And he comes home and he tells her, hey, honey, I made $1 million. Check it out. Aren't you excited? And you come home, you're the man, you made $1 million. Obviously, she's going to be excited. You're like, dang, she's going to love me now. I made $1 million. I'm the man. She's going to love me now. So you come home and you tell her, honey, I made $1 million. And she doesn't care. Instantly doesn't care. Right away, she says, oh, that's nice. But I asked you last week to fix this, and you still haven't fixed this. And the man's like, what the heck? I just made $1 million, woman, aren't you happy? What the heck is wrong with you? She's like, I told you to buy the kids Capri Suns last week and you still haven't done it. It's like, woman, I can buy 1 million Capri Suns now. I made $1 million. Why aren't you happy? Nothing makes you happy. And right away you're fighting. Now you're fighting. Okay? And you're wondering to yourself, why isn't my woman okay? I just made $1 million. She doesn't get it. She's out here mad about that I didn't buy the kids Capri Suns when now I can buy 1 million Capri Suns. And what's that man fails to understand is that a woman the what that man fails to understand is that the woman does not care about the $1 million per se, okay? She doesn't care about that because a woman's deepest, a woman's deepest, like her deepest satisfaction, and one of the woman's deepest pleasures and satisfaction is when a woman tests you and you withstand the test and you're not veered off course. You're not changed. We talked about the changes yesterday and how the feminine, to identify with what changes in life is to be feminine, right? To identify with what changes, the thoughts, the emotions, is the essence of the feminine, or just one way to describe it, okay? Well, one of her deepest satisfaction and pleasures is when she tests you and you are unchanged, okay? You are left unchanged. Because it wasn't the $1 million you made. She doesn't care about that. Okay? She wanted to see if you would be unchanged, an unchanged rock, unperturbed by her emotions and her trying to get you and be like, who cares about your $1 million, and nagging you about the milk you didn't buy or the Capri Suns you were supposed to buy, and nag. She wants to feel that you are unchanged, unperturbed, okay? The $1 million quandary. You see what I'm saying here? Are you following? She wants to feel that you are a man, which is also a folly of the woman, okay? The fact that you need to feel that he's a man is another kind of interesting side note, a folly of the woman, because being a man has no feelings. Yet, it remains that the woman wants to feel that you are the man. Even though you may cycle between difficult and easy, you remain unchanged. Even though you come home to a nagging wife, you remain full of love, okay? She wants to know that you can self-generate that love without the need for her. That you can come home, make $1 million, and she nags you, and you tell her, you know what, honey? Let me go out and get the milk. I'll be right back. Not because she's controlling you, not because she owns you and now you're whipped and now you got to go get the milk because she's mad, but because you're not falling to her framing. You're not falling to Eve. That means she can relax and she could trust you because you're not in denial. Like Joel Friday said. You catch Joel Friday? Did you catch Joel Friday TV? Great episode. You're not in denial. And you didn't fall to Eve. You don't need her. And you say, you know what, honey? Right. Let me get that milk. Let me get that milk, honey. You calm down. You know what I'm saying here? So that's just kind of the $1 million quandary here. And a little bit on handling the woman, because it really has nothing to do with her or how you look, or like, because people say you got to do this or that to be masculine. You hear that from the red pillars, like a man wouldn't do that, which is, I love that kind of stuff, because there is an old school way of living life and handling women that's kind of gone. So when I hear old school guys say, you don't shake a woman's hand. I didn't grow up like that, but I appreciate it because it's calling back to a different, a different way men used to deal with women. But what I've discovered is that it really isn't what it is. It's like, are you subject to the woman or not spiritually? Is you or ain't you? You follow me here? And I think it's best expressed in moments when you are. Anyways, I'm just kind of rambling now, but the $1 million little story there kind of expresses what I'm trying to say here. You understanding me here, y'all? It kind of also fits with what I was saying yesterday about opening up. Even if you're in the middle of because you know how when you get offended and stuff, you want to hide away. You go quickly to hiding away. Let your body even physically closes up. Your body goes away. You look away from the person. And I was saying how you should practice opening up in those moments, opening up your body physically, staring at the person, taking the hurt, taking the offense, and practicing that, not closing down. It's that same thing, but with the woman. Is what I'm talking about here. Not falling to that, okay? Am I making sense? Okay, that's the man's true nature. Or at least somewhere on the way. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. Let's see what else do we got. What else do I got? Dang, dang, dang. Okay, let's move on. Don't open up. It'll bite you in the butt. Not, Lendy, I don't mean like talk about your problems or open up like that. I mean like literally open up your body and allow yourself to be offended and feel the pain and don't like turn away and try and hide away when you're offended. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I need a reptilian skits woman? What are you saying? Just ignore her and stop talking to her. It's so easy. Right on, Kevin. Based. Did spoiler alert really link a Amazon link to Capri Sun coolers? That is funny. Spoiler alert. That is funny. You gotta appreciate spoiler alert there with the base links. Hans O'Callahan with the super chat there. Appreciate that. Says, hello, Nick. Top of the morning to you. Haynes O'Callahan. Thanks for the support there. Top of the morning to you. Sounded a little Irish there, buddy. Starved baby with the super chat from earlier. Did I read this? My apologies if I missed it. Says a very large portion of kids trafficked are from the foster care system. Yeah. It's so corrupt, children disappear from these institutions at a very young age. Yeah. Exactly, man. It's crazy. Hey, caller, what's your name?
This is Mark.
What's up, Mark? I got you on the air from California. Appreciate your call.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking the call. I'm calling about something you may or may not know about.
Okay.
They just appointed or confirmed a man by the name of General Brown in the United States Air Force.
Okay.
And this guy's a radical. He's head of the Air Force. He wants to terminate 13% of the officer field, 13% of the whites, of the white Air Force officers. He wants to terminate them and replace them with colored people. Not specifically blacks, but a whole array of different colored people that he wants to put in the place of these officers. And they actually confirmed this bozo.
Mark, I have to tell you, though, they confirmed this bozo. Go on.
Well, when he was first promoted to his four-star general promotion, Trump was still president. And there was a film of him coming to meet President Trump. It was more of a formality, but you could tell he didn't like Trump. He didn't say anything. You could tell by looking at him, he felt uncomfortable. I mean, this bozo is going to be the head of the Air Force. He's an affirmative action hire, and Trump knew he was no good. I don't believe it was Trump that promoted him. But the military is just full of communists. If they're not open communists, they're traitors in their own way. They're anti-Trump. They're pro-abortion. They're pro-trans. They're everything they're not supposed to be. And it's scary because that's the military. And if Godspeed Trump gets reelected, he's going to have to deal with these demons. And that's what they are. They're really devils. They hate America. They hate the white man. And they're running our military.
Yeah, so his name is...
point I want to bring up.
Hold on. His name... it's Brown. What's his name? General Charles Brown?
It could be Charles.
Charles Brown. I have to inform you of something, Mark, here. You're wrong about something, okay? And I'm reading this to you from AOL.com, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, there was Senator Eric Schmidt, a Republican, who was accusing the military of engaging in cultural Marxism, okay? And he asked if the Air Force had too many... he asked about this very thing. He asked Brown about the too many white officers, okay? And Brown, who's the country's first black service chief, explained to the Senate committee that the U.S. Air Force recruitment goals were only aimed at reflecting the U.S. population and did not limit anyone's chances. See, Mark, you have nothing to worry about.
Well, no. He lied. I saw that back and forth between Senator Schmidt and Brown. What Brown put out, what he posted on social media was that he wanted to fire 13%, or I think the number in reality comes to about 5,400 white officers. And he had no answer when Schmidt confronted him on that, I don't know if it was a text or some sort of a communication. He never denied it. What the dope said was that he wants it to reflect the population. Well, that's called quotas. Quotas have been illegal forever. Even before they shot down affirmative action, quotas have been illegal for at least 20 years.
Right.
And that's exactly what Brown wants to do. He's no good. I mean, the guy sucks. And he's going to head the Air Force. And another point I want to make real quick.
That's kind of the way it goes. And I totally agree, man. It's like, this is exactly why we hear about affirmative action. I don't know about you, but I hear in the news and Republicans talk about it to the point where sometimes I'll hear affirmative action and think, okay, let me skip this story. I already know what it's about. But we can't forget that it's that very concept that is literally putting all these people in places of power so that they can continue to, let's be real, get rid of white people, be anti-whites particularly, and everything we're seeing. So I see what you're saying, man.
Well, I think one other thing I want to say, this Sergeant Major of the Army, he's the top enlisted man in the military today. He's an absolute white hater. I saw on one of the Newsmax shows yesterday, to look at him, he looks white, but he's half black, half white, and totally anti-white. And he's the Sergeant Major of the Army. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name.
Command Sergeant Major?
Yes, sir. That's his rank.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever been in the military. That's like an E9. He's the top enlisted man in the military. He has a lot of power.
I thought it was the Joint Chief of... Is it Joint Chief of Staff?
Well, those are officers.
The officers. You're talking about enlisted.
Right, he's the top enlisted man. He's a scumbag. And if you look at Milley and Austin, they're low-life pieces of garbage. They left all that military. That could be his name.
Okay, go on.
I saw it on... Pardon?
Yeah, according to Army Times, Command Sergeant Major Michael Weimer was selected to succeed Sergeant Major of the Army Michael Grinston, who will depart the role in August 2023.
Okay. Well, I just got to look at this mug yesterday, and he's despicable. A despicable man. I don't know if I've been in the military, and when I was in, it wasn't anything like it is today. If you were a homosexual, you were out, man. No questions asked. You were on the next bus off the base. Now look what it's become. It's just disgraceful. I don't know if we could win a war against China. You know, thank God it's an all-voluntary force, because it would be a nightmare to subject white people, white men and women, to the evil of what's going on in our military today. I don't know if Trump's going to be able to take care of
but there's people going in willingly. It's our own neighbors. There's the command, and there's Milley, and then there's this Command Sergeant Major, and this black guy that they want to put in. And then there's our own neighbors who basically agree with all this. What do you think? Their recruitment goals are way low. They're not able to recruit people. Their recruiting numbers are historically low, and it has to do with this politically correct garbage. Yeah. I predict, and I hope I'm wrong, that they're probably going to reinstate the draft. I used to favor the draft, but today I don't, because of the quality of the brass or the leadership of our military. It's really pathetic. It's just unbelievable that these are the people Trump are going to have to deal with. I wouldn't be. Did you know that Milley told reporters after Trump left the White House that
he actually contacted his red Chinese counterpart and told him, he comforted him by saying if Trump pushes the button to launch, the H-bomb or any of these bombs, nuclear weapons, he would contact them first to let them know it's coming. That's treason, yes.
That's crazy.
He was never arrested. He was never put in jail where he belongs, and he's the top military man. I don't know if he's retired or not. I heard he backed out of his retirement. Not sure about that.
About General Milley?
He's scum. Yeah.
I just remember he made a whole big show about wanting to not be, like, something about wanting to be an anti-racist, and he made a big show about some book he was reading that was teaching him to not be racist.
Well, let me just say this. When they talk about anti-racism or against white supremacy, basically it's a cover. It's code for we hate white people.
Totally.
Just drop the supremacy. Just drop the word supremacy when they say white supremacy and basically replace the word with white people. It's a cover. It's a cover for an attack on whites by calling it white supremacy. It's an easy way to attack us without saying white people. It's a cover. I mean, I don't know how anybody could fall for that nonsense. It's just
totally, man.
outrageous.
Mark, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Looking at society at large, or let's just take, for example, the military you're talking about. It wasn't how it used to be, and now it is what it is. Taking that into account, what do you think was the... it doesn't have to be one or the other, but what do you think was the larger force? Was it that made the military what it is now? Was it like wickedness in high places, leaders, and people trying to inject their ideologies? A group of the few with a lot of control, or is it that the military is what we're seeing in the military and in politics is a representation of the public at large, and is just really it's really just an apt representation because it's our own neighbors who like this kind of stuff.
Well, no, again, the recruitment levels are at historic lows, so I can't agree with that. Secondly, if you want to know why the military, in my opinion, is where it's at today, I want to go back to Bill Clinton when he was president and he instated the don't ask, don't tell policy, which was unconstitutional. They should have kept it, no, you cannot come in if you're homosexual. But instead, that's where it started to go downhill. With the exception of perversion in our military, everything else just started going downhill. It's the same with gay marriage in our society. I think they legalized that perversion in the year 2015. And here we are 8 years later with drag shows being promoted on military bases. So,
I see what you're saying.
When you let Satan get a foothold, evil will follow. And allowing the acceptance and mainstreaming of homosexuality has led to this transvestite, or whatever you want to call it, infusion into our society. It's despicable. In our schools, etc. These people
would you agree with me though that our institutions, our military, our media, that they kind of, maybe they might push it a little bit more, they might be a little off in that, but that they largely represent the current cultural zeitgeist. They aptly represent it. Our institutions, military, and stuff like that.
I would refute that. Let's go to gay marriage, for example.
Okay.
Every state that it was on the ballot, including California, and in fact, in California, it was gay marriage proposals were voted down twice. I think it was Proposition 10. Yeah, Proposition 10 in the year 2000. And then I think it was in 2010. I don't remember the prop letter.
I think I heard Hake talk about this, I think. Which is quite fascinating. They totally went against the will of the people.
The will of the people don't want an open border. The will of the people do not want amnesty for illegal aliens. The will of the people did not elect Biden. I know.
Joe Biden. Why? Oh, you're looking kind of nervous, man. Hey, don't say the election was this or that on my show.
I know. Well, is it fair to say, because it's on the record, that Mark Morale, the former head of the CIA, instructed I don't know if it was Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of them to suppress the Hunter Biden story because he didn't want Trump to win.
I mean, we saw that with the Twitter files and Taibbi and all that. The government was involved with that.
That's election interference. I won't say it was rigged for your show's sake.
Thank you, sir.
I think it's fair to say that the deep state did interfere with the election. I don't think that's over the line to say that. And I think they tried in 2016, but they failed when they got those FISA warrants to go after the people that were in the Trump administration. They spied on President Trump, and Obama was involved. Even though they did everything they could to stop Trump in 2016, they failed. The CIA did.
Yeah.
But the FBI, I may have that backwards, the other three-letter group succeeded in 2020 to undermine, I'll just say undermine the election.
Okay.
Not saying it was
Let me ask you this.
But,
I just thought of something I want to ask you.
I'm going to try it again.
I just thought of something I want to ask you because you make a good point. The people don't want open borders. And what about California and the prop and all that with the gay stuff? And they ignored the public's will. And we can probably think of other ways that that's happened. And so I got to say I agree. Very interesting points. But I just thought of something I wanted to ask you. Can a populace, can a nation who does not ultimately, okay, let me put it like this. If a peoples of a nation are unable to, fight against what you're saying there, the will of the few over the will of the people. If they're unable to do that, is it because they are ultimately, compromised? Like, is it, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to say here? Like, ultimately, are they ultimately, compromised, evil, like who they're fighting against? And that's why they're unable to ultimately totally resist the influence of, evil people wanting to direct public opinion. Did that make sense, my question?
Well, I guess so. Let me just say this. When Prop 187 was on the ballot in California to stop giving education and everything else to the illegals, everybody I talked to, at the time I worked on that campaign to get it passed, everybody agreed that we should stop giving illegal aliens anything. But we passed it, and it went to a judge, and where it didn't belong, and a federal judge reversed the will of the voters. So the same people who I worked with to get this thing passed were telling me, just the average voter, look, we agree with you, but what can we do? And that's where we're at today.
Fair point, man. Very interesting, Mark.
Yeah, they agree with us, but unfortunately there's so much frustration because we vote, not only on immigration, we voted for to end affirmative action in 1996, I don't know if you were here, but a federal judge overturned the will of the people once again. And
fascinating points, Mark. I appreciate that.
Yeah, they're commissars. They're like they're unelected commissars like they have in Russia. They just do what they want in the Constitution, and the voters be damned.
Thanks for that, Mark. Anything else? I'm going to move the wheels.
No, I hope you read that book, Dispossessed Majority, Wilmot Robertson.
Whoa.
Good book.
I didn't know you were going to... Whatever.
Is that
Thanks,
allowed?
Mark. Appreciate your call.
Sir.
Call me again. Thanks. Let me move the wheels. Did my question to Mark make sense? Okay, let me try and distill it. What I was trying to ask him was, I hear everything he said and about the government going against the will of the people, but looking at it from a bird's eye view, kind of abstractly here for a moment, can a nation be subverted that is not ultimately evil and compromised? Or am I just, does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, if a nation at its core, or the majority or something, this is all kind of just, I'm just thinking, this is all thoughts. This is just kind of abstract. This may mean nothing. But if a nation as a whole, in general, can it be ultimately subverted if it wasn't ultimately, at its core, evil, conquered, subverted? right? Because would a good populace have allowed the leaders to hoodwink them? Again, I think that's distilling what I was asking. And I think he answered me. Much appreciated there on the call. Got a super chat here from Hans O'Callahan, says, Carl Schmitt, concept of the political. Is that, I believe that's someone Mark brought up, right? Carl Schmitt. Great call, great super chats there. Appreciate the support. Let me check my Streamlabs real quick. I forgot to check in case someone was super chatting that way. You can super chat on Streamlabs. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything before we go on here to the next topic. Okay, what's next? What shall we do now? Let's do... Dang. I want to talk about a couple things. But do I have the time? We shall make the time. How about we make the time? And I'm getting some calls here. I want to talk about the divine rights of kings, and something I've been pondering, reading about, the patriarchy. Something I think you guys might find shocking. Shocking, considering the history we've been taught. I also want to make this commentary on the Fuentes debate last night about the JQ, the Jesuit question. No, not that one. I got Frederick, Los Angeles, on the air. Appreciate your call. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
What's up? I'm doing just fine. Thanks, Frederick. And yourself?
Yeah.
Nice.
How's it going?
Yeah, no complaints.
I got this question for you. Do you know who the IRA is?
No. What's that?
Oh, come on now.
I mean, okay, I'm thinking of, right away when you say IRA, I'm thinking of, was it the Irish? They were like some terrorists or something like that.
Oh, yeah, no. They're the Internet Research Agency.
Okay, I definitely didn't know that. I was thinking Irish Republican Army.
Oh, okay. They've been making disinformation since, like, the 40s with other
Internet,
countries.
what is it called?
The Internet Research Agency.
Internet Research Agency. Okay, go on.
Yes, and they the leaders of misinformation. And they flood the Internet with all of this misinformation and make people not know what to believe. They've been caught and found guilty in India. They done, they got companies where they done had to stop printing fake news.
Sounds a lot like the CIA.
Yeah. It's the Russian version of the CIA.
Oh, so it's like a Russian thing?
Yes, it's definitely a Russian thing.
And so it's like a Russian government thing, or?
No, it's almost like a Russian hack into America to lower the United States.
Oh, the Russian bots? This is where the Russian bots come from?
Yeah.
If chat you don't know what he's talking about, that, you know, Russian misinformation.
I had to
you hear
check
Trump
into,
talk about it when he says Russia, 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 and you know the claims that Russian agents or Russian hackers are, you know, hacking, you know, trying to influence elections and putting bots in comment sections and trying to influence public opinion, specifically American public opinion.
Right.
Okay, I've never heard of the Internet Research Agency, honestly.
Yeah.
And I got the Wikipedia article here. You know, it sounds a lot like the CIA.
It's the KGB. Why do you think so many Trump fans are for Russia now? They push the media to make where you turn against your own country and vote against Ukraine, and now you for Russia because this misinformation done led you from flat Earth, no moon landing, planes didn't hit the towers. It's the cabal, it's the Allen, it's so many rabbit holes that they done pushed on America. They dizzy. I look at y'all like y'all are dizzy. QAnon, all of that rubbish, is sickening, the IQ level of Americans today.
Okay.
They can't differentiate the difference from real news from fake news.
Dude, you don't get to say that. Sorry, Frederick. You believe CNN. You don't get to say that.
No, I don't.
You do. You're a CNN. You're like someone to CNN. Oh,
I'm a pharaoh.
You're a pharaoh who
all
likes
this is a
CNN and
facade.
believes in racism conspiracies. Okay, but I don't want to just. I don't want to just like discount what you're saying here. Okay, I like our conversations. I'm trying to let me engage with what you're saying here. The Internet Research Agency. I mean, let's just say this. If you're saying Republicans largely are being influenced by this Internet Research Agency into going against America and going with Russia, like I want to understand how going with Ukraine is being pro-America. Like, help me understand the dichotomy. You've painted the narrative, and the dichotomy here is, okay, either you're hold on. Either you're a Republican, either you're one of these brainwashed by the Russian bots into supporting Russia, or you're a patriot who supports Ukraine. Is my fair in what you're saying here?
Right.
Okay, help me understand how being pro-Ukraine is the patriotic position here.
Because Russia's committing war crimes, and the simple fact, NATO.
How do you know that?
Because it's published.
What's a war crime?
War crimes is killing innocent civilians.
And America and Ukraine does not do that?
They bombed the
Ukraine does not do that? 0%?
Ukraine
Ukraine and American assets in Ukraine are not doing that at all?
If they are, it's self-defense.
And if they are, it's self-defense. And how do I know you're not? And how do I know you're not influenced by the Ukraine bots?
How am I? Our president of the United States is aligned with me.
You were informing me about the Internet Research Agency. Are you aware of the CIA? Are you aware of the U.S. government and their influence of public opinion? How do I know you're not an influenced person?
What? Because I'm opening your eyes.
To what? You're telling me that you're opening my eyes to what? To normie NATO propaganda? Normie NATO propaganda, where the patriotic position, the heroes are Ukraine and Satanists and the evil ones, the Nazis are in Russia. It sounds like a very childish kind of Marvel view of the war, where it's like the good guys are here and the bad guys are here. You know, that sounds.
Perhaps you're right. I ain't gonna argue, but look at what Trump did. Trump moved Jerusalem embassy right to the capital.
Yes.
All right.
He did do that.
And Jared made deals with Saudi Arabia.
What does that mean?
$100 billion. They gave them $100 billion. Now Saudi Arabia is in bed with China and Iran.
I want to engage what you're saying, but I want to make sure, I want to hear you correctly. But before I do, did you know, don't forget what you're saying. I want to answer you. Did you know that, did you know that conservatives they've been liking Putin before Trump? Like a long time before Trump, because Putin's like less pro-gay, less pro-Muslim. You know what I mean? Did you know that?
Yeah, but that's cool. Y'all can have that.
Okay, I'm just informing you. And I want to engage with what you're saying. I want to engage with what you're saying here about, what was it that you were just saying about moving the capital, Jerusalem, something like that?
Right. That's what Trump did.
Okay, what did Trump moved he moved the embassy? What was it that he did?
He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. And
what does that mean?
That means he's pro-Israel.
And how do you know, how does that pro-Israel, what do you mean by pro-Israel?
Pro-Israel. They trying to get that top mound. It's a mound that they're fighting for over there. It's a temple that the Jews are not allowed to come to. And it's on Muslim territory in Jerusalem. Have you heard about that?
Wait. Have I heard about what? What did you just say? I missed it. My apologies.
It's a mosque for Muslims in Jerusalem, and Jews want to go there.
Yes.
And they're not allowed to visit.
I am aware somewhat of that battle, of that fight.
Okay.
But you're saying Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem. You're saying that means he's pro-Israel. I want to understand what you mean by pro-Israel. Do you just mean you like Israel, or are you saying that means Trump is like, being influenced by Israel? To what level? I want to understand what you're saying.
Influence, just like the fan said. That's y'all's two running mates, right?
You know who Shell Nadelson is? Or
no.
Or hold on, is it Sheldon Adelson? Sheldon Adelson, Shaden Elson, businessman.
What did he do?
He paid Trump to do that.
He paid Trump to do what?
To move the embassy.
Move the embassy? I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. Jared Kushner got almost $2 billion.
But that doesn't mean what you're saying, man. That doesn't mean what you're saying.
Yes, the propaganda.
Because you're trying to paint Trump as a compromised pro-Israel person.
Influence. No, I'm saying Trump has
when he's just a boomer.
Trump,
when he's just a boomer who likes Israel, like every boomer.
But he's also in bed with.
And you're trying to conflate moving the embassy to
I'm talking about Americans going pro-Russia.
Okay, yeah, but that's not as bad as you think it is. Like moving the embassy, like you think it is. Okay, there's actual rhinos in the government. Okay, who actually push Israel against America. Okay, and you're mad about a president moving the embassy. That doesn't mean he's compromised. That doesn't mean what you think it means. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, it does, because Russia is in Syria, and Russia is hooked up with Hezbollah and Assad. So when Russia attacks Israel, and now y'all pro-Trump friends, and he's pumping up the war anyway, y'all playing both
That's
sides
like people
of the
who
war.
see Trump, like when he was like, "Oh yeah, let the gays go to let the trans go to whatever bathroom," or when his campaign puts out these like
It's more than
LGBT.
about that.
May I, Frederick? Would you want to?
Go
Hey, let's
ahead.
conversate, shall we?
Yeah, but
'Cause I like your calls, man. So let's talk. But it's got to be back and forth. So
Yeah, I got you.
that's
I'm
like the
sorry,
people.
bathroom.
Actually, I kind of interrupted you there, but just to be fair. But let me just finish so we can conversate. It's like the people getting mad at his campaign, Trump's campaign, putting out these LGBT stuff as if it actually means, like, you really believe that he's like that he's suddenly flipped. He's suddenly done a 180 and he's in bed with the LGBT. It's like, no, he's just like, it's clear that it's like, okay, I already got my base. Let me try and get some of these gays to vote for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's quite obvious to anyone who has common sense. But if you're this, this mindset where you read too much into it, you would say Trump is a compromised Israel asset, which is just weird.
do you believe there's voters that will vote for
He wants to build the wall.
Like,
He wants to build the wall. That's like already against what you're saying. Don't you agree?
The wall is not going to work. It's bigger. It's bigger.
But don't you agree? Open borders, he's against that.
Well, somebody has to be poor.
What?
So do you want to be poor, or do you want the Mexicans to be poor?
What? Someone has to be poor? What are you saying? Yeah, well, someone has to be poor. It should be Americans, not Mexicans.
You can't squeeze more debt.
I don't want. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. It's like, okay, if you want to elevate your class, you should import a lower class. But I think that brings with it more problems. Is that what you're saying, basically?
Basically. And
I don't think that's a foolish bargain.
The other alternative is realizing your dollar ain't worth shit and y'all go back to poverty. That's
What did you just say? It ain't worth what?
It ain't worth nothing, and
It ain't worth what? That sounded like two syllables. I think the first time was one syllable. Come on, man! I'm in the studio.
Sorry.
We're not flying the plane. It's basically lunchtime.
Right. I'm so sorry.
The sun's still up. Can we leave that for when the sun goes down?
It's either raise the debt ceiling or show them that they broke.
Interesting.
Show them they broke or raise this debt ceiling. They trying to squeeze debt and refix a problem that never is going to get fixed. Not like the way we going.
Thought-provoking, interesting. Honestly, man, I think you're reading too much into some of that. But thought-provoking.
All right. And remember, Israel
also
wants those China the jet plans.
Israel, what? Say that again about Israel.
So China the jet plans for the Java. Our CIA found it over in China, and we gave them the plans for the Java, and they sold the plans to Russia to create their
fighter jets is going to end up killing them.
Everybody want a piece of America.
Russia giving
Everybody
Iran
wants a piece of America. I totally see what you're saying, man. I haven't heard of that, but yeah, everybody wants a piece of America. Pilfer the treasure. It's here for the taking. It's a mad grab, and it's a mad grab for this failing empire. As it's falling, gold is falling out of its pockets, and everybody's at a mad scramble.
That's right. Happy White History Month.
Let's go. Happy White History Month, Frederick. Appreciate your call, man.
All right, yeah, no problem.
Moving the wheels. Becca, thanks for the super chat there with a little dumbbell emoji showing support, showing power for the stream, for the show. Thank you very much. All the way from... Hold on. All the way from... Well, I don't want to dox her. Thanks for the super chat. What shall we do next? Dang. Yeah, me too. I'm surprised he said Happy White History Month. But we love Frederick, right? Right? We love Frederick, right? We love it, right? We love the Jews, right? I moved it. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, y'all. Okay. Shall I just keep going? Shall we just make the time? There's some things I got to do. I think I should end the show, but I really want to comment on this. Last night was that debate. Nick Fuentes went on Fresh and Fit to debate Destiny about Jewish power. I missed it the first half, so I forget what the actual thesis and the actual main, because you have like a topic that you're debating, and you could talk about this or that, but there's an agreed upon topic. It's we're going to debate this, and I missed that part exactly, but I believe they were talking about Jewish power. Shout out to everyone who was on there. I mean, it was Sneeko, Zerka, I don't know why I'm saying shout out like they're listening. Look, what I'm trying to say is that I appreciate their courage in talking about things that nobody else will talk about. Okay, and for me personally, as a viewer, as someone who's not aware of so much of this stuff, and so for me it was okay, educational. It's interesting. I haven't heard these two sides. I haven't heard this kind of stuff. Thank you for being brave. For others, it's they know more about it, so they appreciate the bravery that way. My point is, very nice. Destiny as well. I mean, think about it. Destiny gets in there. I like Destiny. I like Destiny a lot. He's debated Jesse, shown up for our a town hall for the men's conference once, and he gets in there, man. You gotta appreciate it. He gets in there, and he gets in there. Debates with all of them, any topic, in my opinion, that's what he does. And he doesn't mind the opposition. So, right on Destiny, right on Fuentes, Zerka, and the Fresh and Fit guys for doing a topic that's just not allowed to be talked about. That a lot of people are mad about, they get some anger about, and they're the Jew haters. And those people are wrong for their hate. But people have questions, okay? It's when you obfuscate topics, it radicalizes people. And so Fresh and Fit, Myron and the other guy, very nice. I'm watching this, and they mention how YouTube reached out to Fresh and Fit because they're on YouTube, but they reached out to. They were aware that they were about to have this debate, Destiny versus Nick Fuentes, and that Fresh and Fit made it clear that YouTube contacted them and told them you can't do that on our platform, which is fair. You should follow. Hey, you don't go into someone's home and tell. They may be evil. YouTube may be evil for certain rules and censoring the truth and shadow banning Jesse. Are you going to really shadow ban Jesse, the guy telling the truth and preaching love? I mean, come on. You have to be evil. So they could be evil and all that, but at the same time, for example, myself, the JLP show, we are enjoying the YouTube audience and the access to, communist buzzword, access to YouTube's audience, YouTube's user base. And so For that, we follow the rules. I understand that. So right on, YouTube working with them and informing them, instead of just like banning them, informing them, hey, you can't do that. I wish they were that. I guess you don't have the resources to be like that with everyone. I guess I understand that. But hey, that's what happened. That's what went down. They told them, hey, you cannot have this conversation on our channel. Well, you know, Fuentes is a banned person on the channel, so you can't have that person on our show, on our website. Okay. Oh, stop being soft with YouTube. It's run by scum. Hey, I'm being sincere, Alias. I'm not being soft. I'm being sincere about what I'm saying. We're following the rules. I'm enjoying the YouTube user base. They're evil for their censorship. Can I be a little nuanced, bro, sometimes can I be a little bit of a nuanced, bro, sometimes? It can be cringy, nuance, people. But can I be a nuanced, bro, sometimes and not get, ruined in chat? Interesting point. Everything is fake. Anyways, where was I? So they had the debate. Where was I? They had the debate, okay, and it was fascinating. Okay, I got into like the second half of it, and they were basically when I got in, they were talking about like 9/11. They're talking about like 9/11 and some stuff about it that I didn't quite understand. Okay, and that's the thing about these debates. You get excited. You're like, I like this guy. I like that guy. But I truly understood them. Well, I don't want to say truly. I'm sure I was influenced because I didn't look into their claims. Okay? Don't just believe what you hear. Let me just say that. Let me just put that out there. But I'm watching them debate, and it's so interesting because I'm kind of like Destiny, like intellectual. I need to see it for myself, stubborn, and skeptic or whatever. And so I appreciated Destiny being on there and just going up against it. And let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this about the JQ stuff and the people out there, because there's the whole, I've talked about it before. And personally, I'm not like that into it or up on this stuff, okay? And so people say, oh, Nick, you're so, I don't know, shilling or whatever. My thing is the hatred thing, okay? I was woken up to anger through Jesse's show, and now I have this, what I'm doing here on his network. And I sincerely, I'm about that, the anger stuff and dealing with the heart and what the heart means and the heart change that Jesus spoke about and how that's important, okay? So when I talk about this stuff, I focus on, not having hate. That's why I liked Tristan Tate's commentary on not letting this stuff keep you down. Oh, the Jews are controlling me. How about you go and try? And so I love that commentary. You shouldn't have hate. That's my thing. But I'm not judging these people because, let's be real, I've never spoken to a person who's a critic of the Judaism and all that stuff, who actually, now to be fair, I've spoken to some who actually are basically hateful and say, no, we need to exterminate them. It's like, okay, calm down. But that was like one time. Okay? That was like one time. Most people, they just have questions about history, and they just don't think it went down the way people say it has. But it's not like they want to exterminate, okay? They just have they've come to different conclusions. Can we talk about it? Can we have a conversation about it? Can we hear them out? What's the big? So that's my thing on it, and I've always understood that. I also and like I just said, I'm into the heart and hatred. Shouldn't hate. That being said, it was a fascinating debate there. What did I want to say here about it? There was a moment where Destiny flipped. There was a fascinating moment. Fascinating. There was a fascinating moment where Destiny basically agreed with Fuentes on what I'm saying here. On not the hatred, on the, Destiny Destiny seems to be, if you watch the debate, Destiny, like me, we seem to be concerned with, hating. And he comes at it from like this liberal view. You can't be a bigot. You can't be a homophobe. He comes at it from that direction. But we're both concerned about like hatred. Hey, I understand that you have concerns, but you shouldn't hate. Okay? And so Destiny and I kind of share that concern, okay? And it's funny to watch it it's funny to watch the debate, and basically Destiny essentially agreeing with Fuentes on his conclusions that there are people in the U.S. government who hold loyalties that are not to America or to the American public. And let me play you this clip, okay? I'm going to play you this clip. Short clip. Very short on Destiny flipping. Bah, 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 bah. Alert, alert. Destiny has flipped on the JQ. Of course, not on everything you've heard, but on what I just talked about, okay? And it was a funny moment, and I want to show it to you. Hold on. Destiny. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let's just play it. Let's play the footage. Destiny based. Let's watch. Oh, darn.
Because I want to make this known, and I'm going to reiterate. You just rephrased the JQ as some Jewish people of Jewish descent in the United States have loyalties to their home country or the home country of their families. That is not the JQ. The JQ does not say people whose parents come from Israel
You're telling me
that are in the United States. Yeah, well, because you're dancing about a very weak version of it. Because I agree with your version of it. I agree with your version of the JQ.
Okay, then we agree. Debate over.
We do. People who have Israeli parents probably like Israel. That's not a very compelling conspiracy, though. The real JQ is the idea that Jewish people in the United States government have an undue influence that can supersede or rewrite the will of the American people or other politicians in office to use the United States as a puppet for Israel. That's the JQ. The JQ is not. Can you acknowledge that, or do you think the JQ is just that some Jewish people in the United States like Israel?
Oh, hold on. So
there's like 20 other things.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I found it funny. I needed to show it. Destiny flipped. Oh my God. Destiny flipped. I found it funny. A little common sense there. You know, when you can explain stuff with common sense and no hatred, people trust you, okay? And you also got to understand Destiny, too. You got to understand Destiny's side and his concern, which may be mama. Maybe you shouldn't have a concern, but that people shouldn't hate. You can't have hatred, okay? Because that leads to horrible things. We know this. Come on, guys. So that's what I'm into, the hatred. But I thought this is such a fascinating moment. They got him. We got him, boys. Destiny. What else did I want to say about this? I feel like I forgot everything I want to say about it. The Reddit bros were wondering what happened there, because on Reddit this was on Destiny's Reddit. This was on the top page. It was like, "Hey bros, did Destiny lose?" And it was a fan, a person in the Destiny Reddit, asking, "Hey, he was saying this was a rough performance only because Destiny didn't have enough time to prepare." I hope they can debate again on a bigger platform and Destiny can dominate with proper facts. But it looks like the consensus on the Reddit there is that Destiny lost. Hey bros, did Destiny lose? Bros, did Destiny lose this one? Am I gonna have to question something here? DJ on pod. Not a lot of testosterone in that room. What else did I want to say about this? So, yeah, thanks for having the conversation. It was fun. What else did I want to say? What else? Check this out. Okay, Fresh and Fit, they're known for having like e-girls and all these girls and they and the red pillars, and they're surrounded by the girls. Have you seen those clips where it's like a guy in the middle surrounded by these like Instagram biddies, and they're all like, feminism, and then the guy is like, telling them what's up, telling them how the cow ate the cabbage. So Fresh and Fit, they're not strangers to pretty ladies and all that at their studio. I find this video funny. The cultural impact of these young guys, of Nick Fuentes and Sneeko and Fresh and Fit. It was this clip that came out, and it's Fuentes hanging out probably before or after this debate, hanging out with the ladies. They're playing music, and they're all doing some sort of salute. You just never would have expected this kind of influence. The ladies and the music, and then doing a particular maybe Roman-esque salute. Let's watch the footage. Let's watch the beautiful footage. Oh.
This is Fresh and Fixed.
There he is in the corner. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ladies, where's the decorum? Ladies, where's the decorum?
Look at Audrey. Look at Audrey.
Whoa!
Go, go, go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
You gonna do it? You gonna do it? Oh, there's no way.
Whoa, relax. Calm down, ladies. I guess that's the influence. Jeez, calm down, ladies. It's like leave it to the ladies to take it too far and just get cringy. Leave it to the ladies to take it too far and be cringy, okay? Pete Wilkins asks, they are Roman? Starved Baby asks, who names their son Destiny? Destiny is a lady's name. You know that's still the meme on Destiny's channel? You hear it in the chat. People super chat about it. They'll be like, Destiny is a woman's name. We got to give credit to the great JLP for that. He's the one that created that meme. Destiny's a woman's name. And to this day, it is one of the most said things on that guy's channel. You got to love, that's that influence. You got to love it. JLP. Yeah, we got double Romans on these ladies. Can you calm down, ladies? Come on. Let me see. What else do I want to say about this? I want to talk about. Ooh, I feel like I should just end. Shall I bloviate about some? Let me get into this. I want to rant and ramble and bloviate on about social contract theory and the divine rights of kings and the patriarchy. Some things I've been thinking about, and you might find this fascinating. You know, maybe a little intellectual, but you might find this fascinating somewhat. And you may hear things you've never heard before. Okay? I guess spurred on to talk about this thanks to a article I read on LouRockwell.com, a conservative website. LouRockwell.com says they're anti-state, anti-war, pro-market, okay? This article written by Murray and Rothbard titled The Free Market and Anti-Government Roots of the American Revolution. The Free Market, Anti-Government Roots of the American Revolution, okay? And it's a very interesting article here, okay? And I'm still debating if I should just go into this. It's kind of heady. It's kind of involved. Is that a word? Bloviate? Are you guys confused? Is that even a word? Am I destroying English? Yeah, bloviate. Talk at length, especially in an inflated or empty way. So basically, this article, The Free Market, Anti-Government Roots, okay? Okay. So, you know how politicians, they say, you ever hear someone say, it's the current year? They'll say, like, it's 2023 to justify weird things, okay? You'll see them say it's 2023 to justify LGBT, to justify any number of things. It's the current year. What do you mean you don't believe what I believe? It's the current year, dude. Catch up, okay? And there are lies so ingrained in us and people and history and all that, that people say it's the current year as an actual argument for stuff, okay? And and I basically I'm trying to navigate this and present it in an interesting way. So, yeah, the current year, you heard me say that, and people use this as an actual argument, okay? And so I was reading this article on LouRockwell.com, and it talks about the history of America and the American Revolution and the ideology, the ideological underpinnings behind it all, okay? And the ideological underpinnings behind the revolution and what is called classic liberal movements in the Western world, okay? The English Revolution, okay? And in this article, the writer makes a reference to, thinkers such as John Locke. Anybody heard this name, John Locke? English philosopher. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys talk about John Locke in school? John Locke. 2 treatises of a government, or whatever his book was. And in this article here, they write, the earliest theoreticians or libertarian classical liberalism were the levelers during the English Revolution and the philosopher John Locke in the late 17th century, followed by the true Whig, WHIG, or radical libertarian opposition to the Whig settlement. The Whigs were the people who in the English Revolution, the Whigs were the people who wanted the Parliament to have sovereignty and not the king, not the monarchy. Okay? And this John Locke set forth the natural rights of each individual, okay? And set up that ideological underpinning, that the purpose of government was strictly limited to defending such rights. And in this article, this writer says, in the words of the Lockean-inspired Declaration of Independence, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. The consent of the governed, okay? You following so far? Locke, the ideological underpinnings that are used to describe the American Revolution and what brought about what we know today as the Republic and individual rights and social contract theory. That the authority of government is derived from the people and a people that have consented to be governed in this way. Okay? The article continues. While Locke was widely read in the American colonies, his abstract philosophy was scarcely calculated to rouse men to revolution. This, anyways, this article goes on to describe Locke and that philosophy and all that. Okay? So far, so good. So far, so good. And so I was fascinated by this because, like I was just describing, people say it's 2023, implying that history follows this linear trajectory of just greater progress. And we're just progressing, okay, man? Get with the times. It's called progress, okay? And the people who say that, it's the current year, rely on that assumption that history follows this linear trajectory, and they have to pit. If you follow that to its logical conclusion, you have to pit the old thinkers against the new thinkers, and that the old thinkers they had to make way. They had to move aside and make way for progress, like people like John Locke. Okay? And so I've come to, I'm really going to have to leave this for another day. I really will, and present it to you better. But let me give you a little tidbit here. Let me give you just a little morsel that you might want to bite on. That's quite fascinating, okay? Because that's, like I was describing, that's the assumption, this linear transition of history. Oh, it was kings, and these kings, they were oppressing the people, and then the people overcame that, and now we have democracy, and the republic, and social contract theory, and John Locke. Thank you, John Locke, who, by the way, is the father of liberalism. Did you know that? The father of liberalism. Thank you, John Locke, for bringing these new ideas, which made those old ideas go away. That's the assumption. But I think you will be surprised to learn that that's just not the case. That social contract theory predates John Locke by a lot. That in fact, the Western European monarchy, that was the innovation in the world, and not social contract or specifically overt centralization in the form of a parliament. Now there's commentary about republic as that America became, and that's a little bit different. But overt parliamentary control in direct opposition to the monarchy is not the innovation. Okay? And it's quite fascinating. And we're going to get into this another day. Let me know if you guys find this interesting. We're going to do a show probably tomorrow about Robert Filmer and John Locke and the ideas presented by both. I find this all interesting, the patriarchy. And just to close it all off here and tie it all off with a nice bow, let me call back to what I was talking about earlier about liberty. And a little commentary here on liberty. You may not be aware that the church during the Western European monarchy in the 1600s was in opposition to the kings, and they had issues. Okay, and those issues in that fight brought about these ideas of the individual rights of man. Okay, and it came from the church, and we're going to get into this some other day. But there is an interesting commentary here about that. That it was Robert Filmer, and he said, he observed that subtle schoolmen, this is his words, Robert Filmer, thrust the king below the pope and thought it safest to advance the people above the king so that the papal power may more easily take the place of the regal. This tenet was first hatched in the schools. The Reformed churches entertained it, for that it distributes liberty to the meanest of the multitude, who magnify liberty as if the height of human felicity, meaning happiness, were only to be found in it, never remembering that the desire for liberty was the cause of the fall of Adam. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to leave it at that cliffhanger. We're going to get into this some other day. When I have a better presentation for you guys and I don't bore you. Let's get into this another day. A very heavy subject, Ogden Bell, yeah. But I appreciate you joining today. I appreciate you tuning in. It's been a nice show. Catch me tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby at noon. Podcast, check out Joel's Fridays episode today. And of course, we got Hake Report tomorrow, JLP show, American Anchor Baby at 12. You guys rock. Thanks for watching the show and supporting it. Couldn't do without you. Catch you guys tomorrow. How about that? Peace. Okay, now peace. Peace.